Hello, beautiful ladies. Today, I'm going to tell you something most women are never taught, but it can change how you understand a man instantly. After intimacy, after that quiet moment when bodies relax and emotions soften, there is a window where men are more honest, more open, and more emotionally available than almost any other time. And what you say in that space matters. Not to test him, not to trap him, but to see him clearly. Today, I'm going to share 3 questions every woman must ask a man after sex. Not to pressure him, not to scare him, but to understand him, because clarity is sexy. And a woman who knows where she stands, she's unstoppable. And trust me, ladies, asking these questions can make him feel more connected to you than ever before. It's the secret to turning a moment of passion into a memory that stays with him and keeps him coming back for more. Now let's talk about the first question. Do you feel closer to me right now? This question is pure magic. It's intimate, romantic, and effortlessly sexy. After sex, a man is naturally more open, relaxed, and emotionally present. His walls are down, and his body and mind are both tuned into the closeness he just shared with you. By asking, do you feel closer to me right now? You're inviting him to express that emotional connection, and that honesty is magnetic. You're not demanding an answer. You're creating space for him to show you how much the intimacy affected him beyond just physical pleasure. It's subtle, yet incredibly powerful, because it communicates that you care about the connection, not just the act. That makes him feel desired and appreciated, and it instantly deepens the attraction. What's sexy about this question is how it draws him in without pressure. You're letting him reveal his feelings, which creates emotional intimacy, makes him feel needed, and keeps him wanting more. Men respond to women who value connection and emotional closeness because it validates both their desire and their presence. His answer, his tone, and his body language tell you everything. If he leans closer, whispers softly, or holds your gaze, you know he feels drawn to you emotionally. If he hesitates or avoids, it also gives you insight. Either way, this question gives clarity while keeping the intimacy alive. By asking this question, you show confidence, emotional intelligence, and a sensual awareness that is irresistible. You're communicating, I notice you. I feel this moment, and I want to share it with you fully. And that combination of curiosity, care, and seduction, it keeps him coming back to you, not just for the passion, but for the connection. Now let's talk about the second question. What do you love most about being with me? This question is powerful because it gently turns intimacy into connection. Right after sex, when bodies are relaxed and emotions are open, a man is off feeling more than he knows how to say until you give him the right opening. And this question does exactly that. It invites him to slow down, reflect, and speak from a place of honesty and warmth, not performance. When you ask, what do you love most about being with me? You're not fishing for compliments. You're creating a moment where he gets to feel the connection out loud. You're allowing him to put words to desire, appreciation, and emotion. Closeness all while the moment is still fresh in his body and heart. That's incredibly seductive because men rarely get asked questions that let them express what they enjoy emotionally, not just physically. What makes this question so sexy is that it's confident. You're not asking, do you like me? Or was that good? You're assuming value. You're assuming connection. And that confidence changes how he responds. It makes him lean in emotionally. It makes him search for words that feel real. And in that process, he often surprises himself with how deeply he feels. After intimacy, a man is especially tuned into sensations, comfort, closeness, warmth, ease. When you ask this question, he may talk about how calm he feels with you, how natural it feels to be close, how your presence relaxes him, or how your energy makes him feel wanted. Those answers tell you far more than any romantic promise ever could. They reveal what draws him to you on a deeper level. This question also creates emotional bonding. When someone names what they love about being with you, they reinforce that feeling inside themselves. He's not just telling you, he's reminding his own nervous system why being with you feels good. That's powerful. That's how intimacy becomes attachment, not forced, not rushed, just naturally deepened. There's also something incredibly feminine and magnetic about allowing a man to express appreciation without interruption. You don't correct him. You don't downplay it. You simply receive it. That openness makes him feel safe to keep sharing. His voice softens. His body stays close. The moment stretches instead of ending, and that's where desire lingers. Another reason this question works so well is because it reveals alignment. If he talks about emotional closeness, comfort, connection, or the way, you make him feel understood. You're seeing emotional availability. If his answers stay shallow or detached, that's information too. Either way, you're not guessing, you're observing. And clarity is one of the most attractive qualities a woman can have. Most importantly, this question keeps intimacy from feeling disposable. It says, this moment mattered to me, and men feel that. They respond to it. When a man feels that a woman values the experience, not just the act, he associates her with depth, warmth, and meaning. That's what makes him want to stay connected. Asking, what do you love most about being with me, turns a quiet after sex moment into emotional intimacy. It doesn't push, it doesn't demand, it invites. An invitation is always sexier than pressure. This question doesn't just make him want you again. Physically, it makes him want you, your presence, your energy, the way you make him feel when the world goes quiet and it's just the two of you. And that's the kind of desire that lasts. Now let's talk about the third question. Do you want it to stay like this with me? This question is soft, intimate, and quietly powerful. It doesn't rush the future, and it doesn't demand answers. It simply invites presence. Right after sex, when bodies are close and the world feels slower, this question does something beautiful. It gently asks him whether he wants more of the closeness, not more action, not more intensity, just more togetherness. And that's where the truth shows up. When you ask, do you want to stay like this with me? You're not asking him to commit. You're not asking for promises. You're asking whether he wants to remain connected in this moment. That simplicity is what makes it so sexy. Men feel safe with this question because it doesn't trap them, it welcomes them. And when man feels welcomed instead of pressured, he naturally leans in emotionally. This question speaks directly to emotional presence. After intimacy, a man may be deciding consciously or unconsciously whether to disconnect or stay close. When you ask this softly, maybe while still touching his arm or resting close, you're creating a moment where staying feels natural, easy, and comforting. If he wants to stay, linger, talk, or simply hold you, that tells you he's emotionally engaged. He's not rushing away from the intimacy. He's settling into it. There's something deeply romantic about choosing stillness together. This question says, I enjoy this space with you. And that's incredibly attractive. Men associate that feeling with peace, safety, and desire all at once. When a man feels calm and wanted in the same moment, he bonds more deeply. He connects you with warmth, comfort, and intimacy, not just passion. What makes this question especially powerful is that it gives you clarity without confrontation. You don't need to analyze his behavior later. You don't need to guess what the moment meant to him. His response, verbal or physical, tells you everything. Does he pull you closer? Does he relax into the moment? Does he stay engaged? Or does he withdraw quickly? Every response is information, and all of it helps you understand where he is emotionally. This question also shows confidence and emotional maturity. You're expressing desire in a calm, grounded way. You're not clinging and you're not distant. You're simply present, and presence is incredibly seductive. Men are drawn to women who can enjoy intimacy without anxiety, women who can sit comfortably in closeness without rushing it or fearing it. Another beautiful thing about this question is that it creates space for tenderness. It allows the energy to soften instead of disappear. It turns sex into connection and connection into memory. Men remember how they felt in moments like this, not because of what happened, but because of how relaxed, accepted, and desired they felt afterward. Do you want to stay like this with me? Also subtly communicates self-worth. You're not asking him to stay forever. You're asking if he wants to stay now. And that shows you're secure in yourself and aware of the moment. That balanced desire without dependency is incredibly magnetic. In the end, this question isn't about him staying physically. It's about emotional availability. It reveals whether he wants closeness or distance once the passion fades. And that information is priceless, because a woman who knows how a man behaves after intimacy, how he chooses closeness or avoids, it is a woman who doesn't guess. She understands. And understanding gives her power, peace, and clarity. This question turns a quiet moment into an honest one. And honesty, when wrapped in softness and presence, is one of the most attractive forces there is. Now let's talk about this question. What was your favorite part? On the surface, it sounds simple, almost playful. But don't be fooled, this question is quietly powerful, deeply seductive, and emotionally revealing in a way most women never realize. Because when you ask a man this after intimacy, you're not just asking him to remember what happened. You're inviting him to relive how it felt to be with you. This question works because it doesn't interrogate him. It doesn't analyze him. It doesn't pressure him. It gently opens a door and says, tell me what stayed with you. And men are far more willing to walk through a door than be pushed through one. When a man answers this question, notice what he focuses on. Does he talk about closeness? About laughter? About how comfortable he felt with you? About the way you made him feel wanted, calm, excited, or understood? Those answers tell you everything about where his emotional connection truly is. Because what someone remembers most is what mattered most. This question is also incredibly sexy because it places you at the center of the experience without arrogance and without insecurity. You're not asking for validation. You're inviting expression. That confidence is magnetic. Men are deeply attracted to women who are curious without being needy, open without being demanding. There's another reason this question works so well. It allows him to speak without fear of being wrong. There's no correct answer. Whatever he says is his truth in that moment. And when a man feels safe to speak honestly, he associates that safety with you. That's how emotional bonds quietly form. As he answers, something subtle happens. His body relaxes, his voice softens, his mind reconnects with the moment you shared. He's no longer moving away from intimacy, he's revisiting it. And when someone revisits a feeling, they deepen it. This is how connection grows naturally without effort or force. This question also helps you understand whether intimacy was just physical for him or something more. If his answer centers only on sensation, you learn something. If it centers on closeness, warmth, or emotional ease, you learn something even more important. Either way, you gain clarity. And clarity is one of the most attractive qualities a woman can have. What makes this question especially feminine and powerful is that it's rooted in presence. You're not jumping ahead to what does this mean? Or where is this going? You're staying right here in the moment, allowing the truth to reveal itself naturally. That grounded energy is incredibly appealing to men and deeply empowering for women. And here's the secret most women don't know. When you ask a man what his favorite part was, you subtly guide him to associate pleasure, connection, and warmth with you, not just with the act, but with the experience of being with you. Over time, those associations become emotional attachment. This isn't manipulation. It's awareness. It's emotional intelligence. It's knowing how to listen, how to observe, and how to let a man show you who he is without chasing answers or forcing conversations. So when you ask, what was your favorite part? You're not fishing for compliments. You're giving him space to reveal what touched him most. And a woman who knows how to listen in moments like this doesn't guess where she stands. Now let's talk about this question. How did that moment make you feel about us? This question is bold in the most elegant way. It's not loud. It's not demanding. And yet, it gently reaches into the emotional meaning behind the intimacy you just shared. What makes it so powerful is that it doesn't ask him to define the relationship. It asks him to reflect on it. And reflection is where truth lies. When you ask this, You're inviting him to pause and check in with his emotions. Men don't often get asked how moments shape how they feel about someone. They're usually asked what they think, what they want, or what they plan to do next. This question is different. It asks him how the experience landed in his heart, and that's incredibly attractive. This question works because it connects intimacy to meaning. You're not talking about the act. You're talking about what it created between you. Did it make him feel closer, more affectionate, more curious about you, more emotionally connected? His answer will reveal whether intimacy deepened his feelings or simply passed through him. What's especially seductive about this question is the confidence behind it. You're not afraid of the answer. You're not fishing for reassurance. You're calmly asking for awareness. That grounded energy tells him you're a woman who values connection but doesn't cling to it. And that balance is magnetic. As he answers, pay attention not just to his words, but to his tone. Does he speak thoughtfully? Does he soften? Does he reference us naturally? Those are signs that intimacy didn't end when the moment ended, it stayed with him. And when a man connects intimacy with emotional closeness, he begins to associate you with depth, not just desire. This question also creates emotional safety. You're opening a space where feelings can exist without pressure. That safety makes men more honest, more relaxed, and more willing to share. Over time, the honesty builds trust, and trust is one of the strongest foundations for attraction. And here's the quiet power in this question. It gives you clarity. You don't have to guess what the moment meant to him. You don't have to overthink his behavior later. You asked. You listened. You learned. A woman who asks questions like this isn't chasing answers. She's allowing them to appear. And that's the kind of woman men don't forget.